morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's Expert Insight series. Today we're focusing on Mauritius and the fantastic new development that's happening there that has very interesting and dynamic opportunities. But before we get on to that, I just thought I would run through a little bit of housekeeping with you. Many of you have participated in our webinars before, but just in case, at the bottom of your screen, you will see a little box that says chat. If you click on that and select the option everyone, you'll be able to speak directly to our team that is sitting behind our panelists that are there to answer any questions regarding the project, relocating to Mauritius, and any other questions that you would like answered. This is a golden opportunity to have a team of experts assist you immediately and give you those answers. During the course of this webinar as well, we'll be running a number of polls. What happens is the poll will pop up in front of you. We'd be super grateful if you would answer the poll. There's an example of one now. Once you've done put your answer in, you can just click on the little red button. For those of the panel, just click on the red toggle, and so it's out of your line of sight and it doesn't disturb you during the course of the webinar. So 45 minutes. It's a beautiful weather down here in the Western Cape today. For those of you who've joined us and aren't experiencing load shedding, that's wonderful. For those who are experiencing load shedding, I'm sure that you'll be able to watch this recording. So we're welcoming everybody who's watching the recording as well. Let's move on to our panelists and get going. So the new development that we're discussing is called the Welnest Residential Hideaway. I thought that lovely word hideaway was quite exciting, and I look forward to find out why it's considered a hideaway. Christophe is the developer there, and he is going to be discussing the development with us. We've brought Maritim from SBM Group. They're managing the financing around the development, and so she's going to be chatting to you a little bit about how you can access financing and what the offers are happening. Managing the development from a sales perspective is Theo at Seef. Now, we've also got a number of members of Seef that are sitting behind this webinar as well. So any questions that you have, their team will be answering during the course of the webinar. So before we start with our first presentation, let's get into the vibe of it. Clem has got a video for us that he's going to play, and so that we can have a better understanding of where the project's positioned and what it has to offer. Clem, if you can pop that video on for us. Wow, looks beautiful. As I was watching that, I was kind of trying to picture myself on the beach there on one of those decks chairs on the corner, sipping something exotic. I'm just looking at my calendar thinking 3 weeks to go before it's holiday time. Christophe, maybe before we launch into the development, for everyone listening today, to get a little bit of idea about yourself and the development company, if you could introduce yourself and where this development is coming from, a little bit of background, and then tell us about tell us about the Welnest.
Of course, Louise, thank you for organizing this webinar this morning. We are thrilled to be presenting this new project and really looking forward to putting it out. So thank you for organizing that, and welcome to everybody to the discovery of this Welnest project. Louise, we've been working on that project for some time now with the development company and the promoters, and very happy to have launched this project about 2 months ago now on the market. Basically, look, I'm Christophe. I'm from Mauritius, from French origin, as you can see on my name. I've been working with this very small boutique promoter developer on this project for, as I said, some time now. We are very happy to have, as you can see, a partner with the Maritim Hotel to develop this project, which, as you will see during the course of this presentation, is a very unique, if I may put it this way, project and development. One, I can say, very different from what you can find on the island at the moment, and also very specific on what it has to offer and how to interact. It's not only brick and mortar, as we can say in the property development. It's more than that. So this is what I'm going to show you today and try to convey. So if we move on to the presentation and we can start it off, the site itself, if I can showcase it with this picture, is really unique. As I said, we are located on the northwest coast of the island of Mauritius, next to many resorts, 5-star resort in this area, in what we call the Balaclava Bay, or the Tortoise Bay. Which is one of really a magnificent area, a protected marine park. We really try to implement and develop this project in association with Maritim. As you can see, it's like a perfect triangle land, which is located just offset of the Maritim on the right-hand side. And you will see along the course of this presentation how we try to implement and really work together with the hotel to bring, as I said, more than property, more an experience than just owning a property on the island, which has all its advantages, and Theo from Seef will talk about that later on. So it's really talking a bit more about the experience, about how we're going to interact there, and what is on offer. So if we move on to the next slide, you're going to see quickly a brief location of that. I think you'll be able to send that to everyone, Louise. So maybe I'm not going to talk too much about that, but just to show you a bit where we are located on the island. It's really the most sought after region of the island, which is the north part. Beautiful weather, all amenities, good road connections and infrastructure. So this is really something important for people to buy when they buy a property, and I think this really we tick a lot of boxes on that side. So to go into more specific project, you can. I've put a few pictures, if you want, of the project itself, just to show you a bit the mix. Look, we are now offering a huge array of units available, going from 2-bedroom apartments to 3-bedroom apartments to penthouses, 4-bedroom units as well on apartments and penthouses. So there's really something for everyone in terms of size, in terms of budget. We start as from $405,000 for 2-bedroom units, and then it goes up, but we'll be able to cover that later on. So we really cater for everyone, but at the same time making sure that each and every one, depending on whether they want to reside, invest, or come and spend a few months a year, will find what they're looking for. So this is, for example, our leisure apartments, which we kind of earmark for the rental management, which we'll cover a bit later on. But again, it doesn't you can still have people come in and live in those type of apartments. And really looking at the density is important for us. So there's huge garden, big swimming pools, and really all of this was thought through during the design process. Next, you're gonna see one of the villas that we have designed, which really embraces this tropical modern life with lots of space, huge openings, a lot of cross ventilation, and using as much as we can natural elements, natural materials. So this is really how we wanted to design these type of villas. We work with a Mauritian architect, very nice guy, young architect with nice, fresh ideas. And I think this was important for us, you know, Louise, is just to get really someone who knows the country, who knows how people live here, and make the owners embrace that lifestyle. And at the same time, we wanted to play the card of also touching a little bit our clientele, which would be South Africans, obviously. And on the next slide, you will see an interior of a unit. And for that, we chose interior designer architect based in Cape Town, actually. And we worked with them to really have that different feel, you know. It's not to talk bad about other developments, because I have a rich experience on the property and I've been working for other developments, but we wanted to bring something different on the island, a different feel, really something unique, not a hotel resort that everyone knows, and at the same time not the typical property development that everyone knows. So I think we got something quite nice, and so far people are quite happy. So we are very keen on continuing our relationship with them. Next one will be really specific on the design itself, the master plan, which I think everyone will be able to go through and really look at. And obviously Seef and us are available after for really going into details into that. But just to maybe make people understand and feel the proximity with the Maritim resort, which is a 5-star resort. We'll talk about that after. And really see the proximity also of the beach and the sea, which is something really unique. And I think everyone is looking at this type of property. And the picture that you see behind me is actually a real drone picture of the place. So yeah, you were talking about sipping cocktails. Well, you can already come by and sip cocktails. I'll welcome you with great pleasure. So you can see on the plan itself, so a range of apartments on the first front of the project, which, as I said, varies from 2 to 4 bedrooms. So you can have different type of units there. And then at the back, you're going to have all the villas ranging from 3 and 4 bedrooms again. And then on the left, as you can see on your screen, number 7, what we call the Leisure Heart is really our special place where we wanted really something of high end. It will be operated by the hotel. It will be operated by Maritim, and it will offer to the resident, to the holiday people, to anyone coming and spend some time at the Welnest, all the facilities ranging from reception area, conciergerie, a convenience store, restaurant, bar, pool, kids area, gym and fitness space as well. So really something that's at the heart of, as its name suggests, at the heart of the project, and being able to well, make people enjoy this lifestyle as much as they want. So if we move on to the next slide, it's more about I forgot this one, my bad. This beautiful beach, this amazing beach, which is now the beach of the Maritim resort on this Balaclava Bay. All the time, people ask me, what is the beach like? We want to enjoy that lifestyle. We want to be next to it. Look, this is as good as it gets. Really, this is something amazing, maintained by a 5-star resort. So good standard, beautiful bay, which is protected, so you don't have too much happening there. And this is really something true. that we wanted to show. Yes, we don't have buildings yet, but at least we have that we can show people. And I think this is something nice. So as I said, on the next slide, you're going to have a bit more description about our leisure hut that I've already covered. So maybe we can move on to the next type of facility, which is just next door, which is the Maritim Resort and Spa. So just for you to understand a bit more on this next slide, what is the Maritim Resort? So the Maritim Resort is a 5-star resort located in this Balaclava area, and really just to have a little bit of history about Maritim. It's a 5-star resort who's been there for 30 years now, running a high occupancy resort with a beautiful beach, huge garden and facilities, ranges from 7 restaurant and bar to equestrian area to fine dining to beach bar to dining in the sand, feet in the sand, to boathouse, to brasserie style rum bar and area. So really having lots and lots of facilities, which are all accessible to the resident of the Welnest. So Clem, if you can move on to the next slide, you'll be able to see what we gathered together with Maritim, which is called the all-inclusive package. And the all-inclusive package, simply put, is an array of services and facilities that each and every one at the Welnest will be able to benefit from. It goes from syndic services. Obviously, we are in a co-ownership in a property development, so there will be common areas to be maintained. So this will be maintained by Maritim and handled by Maritim at 5-star resort standard, which is really important. Then you have something amazing, which is the resident service, the resort access, obviously, and the a la carte service. The final one is the rental management, and we'll cover that just after. So Maritim will basically offer all this package. And if we go to the next slide, maybe for people to understand a bit more specifically what we're talking about, because this is very uncommon. If you look at your traditional development around the island, you will most probably have this syndic and common facilities handled for you by a company, whoever, it's as per the law today in Mauritius. So, but you won't necessarily have the two on the right, which are resident service and facilities access. And this is really what we want to put the emphasis on today. Being a resident of the Welnest will give you all the services and facilities like the conciergerie, like all your internet and cable TV already installed in your villa or in your apartment. Your private pool cleaning and landscaping done as well. Your pest control, your minor repairs and property maintenance. For example, I have a bulb which is out. I have a leaking tap. I have anything which happens in my house. I just pick up the phone, call someone, and I'll have someone coming to my apartment or my villa and repair it. And all of that is included in their fees, which is something quite amazing, because we know the hassles of ownership. We know how it's hard sometimes to maintain a property. And on top of that, not being on the island or not being where your property is. So I think this is really something we wanted to put emphasis on. And obviously, you're going to have all the facilities access on top of the leisure hut, obviously, all the facilities access of the Maritim, going from the beach, the F&B outlets, the gym, and all these stuff. And obviously, as you can see, we have different levels of membership, and a premium membership will give you access to the golf course, to spa, and to resort kids club and stuff like this. So all of this can be discussed together with the clients afterwards. Then obviously, because we have all these facilities and services, you're going to have all the a la carte services, which you can have. You can read on the screen now, which are available for anyone. So if we move on to the next one, we'll go into again, we can move along, but this is again, for example, in the inside of a villa. What I wanted to really put some time in is the rental management. Rental management, as you can see, and Seef will probably confirm that later on, but A lot of people want to buy in Mauritius and not necessarily come and live there permanently. And even if they do, it's interesting to have that laid out before them. So the rental management today is going to be organized and operated by Maritim Resort. So as I said, 30 year on the island, full resort running at more than 80% occupancy year-round, pre-COVID. So really people who know how to handle resort facilities and who know how to run a property like this. And we really went into the flexibility and the freedom and the possibilities of having your property rented out. So from fixed to flexible to freedom, there's a lot of ways people can handle their rental management with us. And I think this is important, because if we go from someone who just want to invest, we have something for them. If we won't go from someone who want and spend some month in Mauritius, but at the same time get a return, we have something for them. If we want to go with someone who doesn't want to rent out, but we don't know, they're just going go and spend 2 months elsewhere and want to get a bit of a return, we have something for them. Basically, with these free schemes, we have something to offer. And I think this is really unique. Having a real resort operating that really makes a difference. So if we move on to the next one, you'll see all the rental programs defined really with their conditions. Again, let's not spend too much time on that. We'll be able to send everyone this presentation, and they'll have all the documentation. But basically, this is really operated like a resort, and with all the facilities paid out, which is really something nice. Then again, obviously, Louise, you're going to tell me how much money do I get if I give my unit to you on rental? Well, you can get a fair bit, I must say. Maritim is very confident about this project, and they've been pushing us for the last 2 years now to get this thing out. And very conservatively, they gave us numbers that we didn't want to exaggerate. We really wanted to show what the operator told us. And today, if we take on the left, for example, the average room rate that they think they can rent out, and also the occupancy they can achieve, you're going to get on the right the annual return estimated. For example, this is taken based on a 3-bedroom unit. And over a period of 10 years, we can see that we can get nearly an average of 6 to 7%, which is really unique, because this is also, we must not forget, net of all charges, of syndic fees, of operating fees, etc. So really, this is something you get out in your pocket, except the 15% income tax that we have in Mauritius on rental. But other than that, you really get that return, which is really something interesting for an investor or for someone wanting to get a return out of his unit. So then again, Seef and I are really happy to go through a bit more details and maybe do the calculations for each and every unit to really get into specifics. But yeah, this was, I'm sure, a question we'll have, or we already had. So I wanted to get to that. At the same time, if you move on, you can see that you can still use your unit, obviously, because we're going to give you some nights for you to enjoy, even if you're an investor. And yet again, this can be discussed together. I'm not going to be that much longer. The Welnest obviously has some unique features that I've covered, from its location to its facilities and services, to the Maritim Resort, to the rental management. Obviously, it is a PDS. It is developed under the property development scheme. It is validated by the authorities, accessible to foreigner. All the units give a resident permit automatically. So for me, this is really a really sought after project, and that we really need to put on the scene now. We are doing great with sales at the moment, and Seef will cover that a bit more. The site is ready. So on the next slide, and my next and final slide, you'll see that the site is ready, cleaned up, ready for you to come over. So to everyone available, please book your ticket, come and see us, and we'll be able to visit that place and really make you discover and feel what it is and how it is to buy there and to be able to enjoy all of this. Thank you, Louise.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Wow. So if I understand correctly, there's every choice. So you can purchase and live there permanently as a traditional homeowner, permanent homeowner, and still access all the services that the hotel offers. Because when I noted there, you mentioned garden services and pool services. I have a pool. It's the bane of my existence and the greenest thing in my garden. So if you could take that out of my life, I would be a happy person. I also noticed on your slide it said pet friendly. So can I assume that the villas you can have pets at the villas and any other of the ground floor apartments? Is that pet friendly as well?
Of course, we will draft the co-ownership in a way that it will allow for pets. Obviously, when we allow for pets, we allow for pets that behave in such spaces and in co-ownership. So it's small pets that can live in apartments or villas and stuff like this. But this will obviously be available.
Yeah, there are many South Africans that choose to emigrate with their pets. We're pet lovers, I must say. So I did notice that was a nice item. So then, say for example, I am looking to emigrate in 5 years' time. When I retire, I could purchase a unit now. I could put it into a rental pool, choosing one of my contract options, and then at the time of me wanting to emigrate, I could then withdraw my unit from the rental pool if I've selected the correct option. I noticed fixed was 20 years, 6 months, and then ad hoc.
Exactly. And then you have the options. You have the options from a really an investor scheme going in the fix that you just want to come and spend a few nights per year there. This is a real good option with a high return. Then you have your flexible, where, as you said, if you want to come and spend 4, 5, 6 months per year, it's possible. The rest of the time, it will draw a return for you. And at the same time, if you just want to come and really enjoy and embrace that Mauritian lifestyle and come and spend a full year there, it is also possible depending on the units and what you choose. So, as I said, there's something for everyone, and I'm sure that we can find a solution and the perfect property for each and everyone.
Just my last question before we move on, because it'll obviously tie to us talking a little bit about the financing model. So I did notice you mentioned the 15% tax, and I think maybe Neelam will cover that a little bit. So it's a taxable income and how that affects your South African. I think it's a conversation on its own. Are there any guarantees in place? I mean, your return on investment, if you put it into the rental pools based on occupancy, is the hotel putting any guarantee from an occupancy perspective in the first year or so of the contract? How does that look?
We have a scheme on a few units. Obviously, you must I'm sure you understand that it is really sought after, but we do have a scheme for a 4% guaranteed return over 5 years on certain units. But be quick, because obviously when you put something out like this, this is really going fast. But we do have that. But at the same time, when you see the figures that we can implement, it's really interesting to have this floating rate as well, because the return can be really nice.
So there's benefits to both.
Of course.
So I suppose it just depends on your risk appetite, whether you want to
definitely on your profile, what do you want to do with it, what do you want to get out of it. This is really specific to the project and to each and every one. So it would be difficult to have a general general feedback on that.
But nice to know that if you are interested in some sort of guarantee, that there are a few units, but you're going to have to, I can imagine you're going to have to jump at those. So I think based on let's talk about, so to keep us moving forward, let's just have a look at the pricing mechanisms and the offer. So would you mind, Neelam, if you could explain, but maybe just to our audience, Christophe, if you, in Mauritius, a promoter or developer can build a specific relationship with a financial institute, and that financial institute then supports that development. We have something similar to that, but not as strong almost. I get a feeling that it's a different type of relationship. Christophe, could you explain to us what that relationship is with SBM?
Yep. Look, I'm gonna let Neelam go into the details of it, but just to answer your question, we are in a special relationship with SBM regarding the financing, obviously, of the clients themselves, but also on the finance side of the project, because we will give our bank guarantee, which is compulsory and as per the law in Mauritius when you buy off plan. Our bank guarantee will come also from SBM, so we have a special relationship with them, and this is why we wanted to put something together with them for clients, for the ease of the process, and to really have something running smoothly. But Neelam will be able to cover that and explain a bit more.
Thank you so much, Christophe. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and we look forward to it. Naeem, if you could give us some insight into the financing process and the relationship, that would be fantastic.
Thank you, Louise. So I'm Neelam. I'm from the private wealth department at SBM, and I'm here to help you find the best financing solution for you to acquire your piece of dream in Welnest. And also, incidentally, I live near the project. So as Christophe rightly said, it's an amazing place to have a cocktail on a Friday night or any other night of the week if you want. So moving on to the next slide. Who can benefit firstly from our financing solution that we have for this project? You can be a Mauritian, you can be a foreigner residing in Mauritius, so an expatriate, or you can also be a foreigner residing outside of Mauritius. It should be noted that your application for this for a financing or for a loan can be done while you're not in Mauritius and overseas. So for this particular project, you can apply for financing in Mauritian rupees, in dollars, in GBP, or in euros. So normally for financing for foreigners, the bank would go to a certain percentage, but since we have this special collaboration on Welnest, we are giving up to 70% of the acquisition price for you to take as financing. The other 30% should be your own personal contribution. Now, in terms of the duration of this bond that you're going to be taking, this can be extended up to 15 years, but you're free to take lesser years depending on your own cash flow. Now, when should you apply for this loan? As soon as you've talked to Christophe or you have talked to Seef about which property you like, or you have already chosen your property, you can already approach us for your financing, so we can put in place a very smooth procedure for you that you can have all your finances in place before you go to sign the title deed. Next slide, please. Now, with regards to this loan process, once we have received all the documents, which I will elaborate on later on, this can take up to 2 to 4 weeks for an approval. Following this approval, we will do the loan disbursement, and this is upon a schedule of payment that has been elaborated by Welnest, and they will tell us upon each stage of completion of the project, and we will be disbursing the funds upon this called the funds. So as security for this project, we are going to be taking the property itself, or if you provide us another cash-based collateral, we can also take this as property. Next slide, please. Now, in terms of documentation, we would need a copy of your passport and your proof of address. These would have to be certified by a professional. We would also need to establish your source of income. So this can be through your payslip, can be through dividend letters, through company financials. We would also be needing your source of funds. So through your bank statements, if you could give us your last 12-month bank statements and a bank reference letter. So this bank reference letter, you would get it quite easily, even from abroad. So it just should state that your banking activities being conducted properly. Now, with regards to all the description with regards to the property, normally we ask that from the client, but due to this special collaboration that we have with the Welnest project, we already have in our database all the documentation with regards to this property. We would only be liaising with you with regards to the lot number that you have chosen. Lastly, what we would need from you would be your credit report. So this is a document which states that you have, if you have any kind of liabilities outside of Mauritius. Next slide, please. Now, we are going to be talking about the tie-up and partnership that we have with Welnest. So the word tie-up might be a bit confusing for some of you because you think that you're tied up with SBM and you cannot go find your finance anywhere else. That's not it. This is just the term that we use. This tie-up means that we have a special partnership with Welnest where we can provide you better deals, more advantages and more benefits to you. Next slide, please. Now, if I may ask you, Louise, if you're moving to a country, what would be your number one priority?
If I was moving, so my number one priority, well, obviously would first be the move and getting my child into a good school, finding a good location that's close to the school. I'm not sure if I'm, make sure the dogs are okay. I'm not sure if I'm answering these questions right. What would be my first? What do you think would be my first?
Well, for the most of people that we know that are moving to Mauritius and the expatriates, their number one priority is to find some place to live. So, and this is why we have a special partnership with promoting agencies like Seef or with promoters directly or developers like Welnest to be able to provide you the best experience when you acquire a property. So we help you get the most prestigious and luxurious properties in Mauritius. It should be noted, as Christophe said, that we already have a GFA in place for this project. So you have this additional security when you're buying your property. Now, what will you be getting as a customer out of our partnership is that you will be getting very, very competitive interest rate in Mauritian rupees, dollars, GBP, and euros. So what we would advise you is to approach us and we will negotiate the best rates for you because we also do it as a case-by-case basis. Now, in terms of course, when you're going to be taking a loan, you have to pay fees. Unfortunately, it's like that. But we are giving a 50% discount on all the legal and processing fees that would be involved in when you're looking for financing on these projects. Now, there are a few more perks that you have on when you take a financing with us for this specific property is that firstly, you will be getting a pre-approved credit card for yourself and for a supplementary card. The fees will be waived on the first year of that you get your card. Now there is something that's a moratorium period. A lot of clients look for a moratorium period. So what is it? A moratorium period is a period during the construction of the property, because this is an offline property. So during the construction of the property, we give you the facility to be able to only service the interest and not the capital amount. This leaves you a bit more of cash flow during the first 18 months or 2 years that the project will be taking, so that you have more cash flow when you will get the project in the end. So these are all the perks that we have with Welnest with regards to this property. Last slide, please. So we invite you to visit the property, to get in touch with Christophe, with Seef Properties, because if we have given our backing to this property, we have very, very exclusive deals and limited deals that we do with promoting agencies and, as I said, developers. We have already assessed the credibility of this project, and we know it's a very prestigious project, and we invite clients to visit, to to have a chat with Seef Property, to have a chat with Christophe, and just buy your piece of dream.
Thank you so much. Before we move forward, I just wanted to ask you a few questions. One that actually came up as well in the our chat box there. So you offer a 15-year loan,
Yes.
well, based on meeting all the criteria. Could a 15-year loan. What is the age? Is there an age limit to when you can apply for that loan?
There is. Normally the age limit is 65 years, but we see it also as a case-to-case basis. For example, it's a business owner who we see that the repayment will be out of the profits of the company, that the dividends he will be getting. It's on a case-to-case basis.
And so if I'm a South African living, and you're using me as an example there, so I'll carry on with that line of thinking. I'm a South African living in South Africa. I'm looking to purchase in Mauritius. I either have a property that I need to sell, because that's obviously going to be some funds that I would need for that transaction, or I have costs that I'm incurring based on the property I currently have. So I'm paying back an existing bond or a rent or whatever that is. So you mentioned that you would bond against the new property. Yes. But you're looking at my affordability based on my South African earnings. Is that correct?
Correct.
Taking into account that I have an existing asset that I'm paying for, and I haven't sold my house. So you would consider, because I wouldn't necessarily sell my house if this project is going to take 18 months to completion, or perhaps I'm selling my house a little bit further down the line. You would take all of these extenuating circumstances into consideration.
Yes, all of these are taken into consideration. Also, if you don't want to sell the house afterwards and you tell us that you will be putting it on a rental basis, we will also be considering the income that you would be getting out of this the property that you already have.
So in this case, you're offering me financing, but would yourself and perhaps other colleagues of yours work with me around, how I'm going to move, how I manage my taxes, my actual whole kind of package there?
Well, we as a bank, we don't give tax advice, but we have many strategic collaborations with partners, with management companies, with tax advisors whom we work with very closely. For example, you are South African. We have a specific tax advisor for South African where we recommend our clients to go to. Same for the moving process. We will give you the basic information that we have from the website of EDB, but we will also put you in touch with other key players in this, so in the field, who will help you with the relocation. So if you see your personal banker, your relationship manager, we are like a bit of one-stop shop. So you ask us what kind of services we need, and we collaborate just like we do with Seef, just like we do with Welnest. We will give you the referral for the proper person to guide you through your process.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you. Okay, well, as we're moving on, let's chat a little bit to Theo and understand what Seef's relationship is in this project. And thank you very much, Naeem. And let's see what let's moving forward. So Seef are the primary sellers of the properties, is that correct? So any sales would go through the Seef Mauritius branch, is that right, Theo?
Yes, we are fortunate enough to be selected to be the sole mandate agency on this project, in collaboration with the promoters that can also be involved in some of the sales. So you want me to, can I start straight off? Is there any questions you want to ask before we start?
Well, I think let's get a bit of an understanding of Seef's role, and just so that we can get to know you. And
all right. Yeah, thank you. Listen, Seef has been on the island for 16 years now. Obviously, South African license that we moved here 16 years ago. So me being South African as well, I've been living here for 20 years. So I know how the South Africans think, and I know what bothers them, and I know what they want to know. And Like I always say, acquisition of property is stressful, even if you buy it in your own country. You never know if it's the right or is it wrong, or is it the right time, is it the right value. And when you do that acquisition in another country, I think it multiplies the stress factor. So obviously there's always a few points that I like to make very clear to clients. And I believe when somebody is listening to this now or look at the recording later, they've been looking at projects on the island. And the first thing that you realize there's a lot of projects on the island. Some done, some half done, some will never get done. And the first thing, you need to limit your risk by seeing and looking at the project by who surrounds that project. So the first thing is, who is the reputed people or businesses surrounding the project? And in this case, you look at SBM, one of the biggest banks in Mauritius. You look at Maritim, which is a associating partner to this project that's been there for 30 years, well reputed. Seef, we've been there for 16 years. People know us, we know where they come from. We try to tick those boxes for the clients before they actually have to go into all the investigation themselves. So when we write our name under a project, we have done our homework already. So I think that must first be the first thing to give clients a little level of comfort that this is a project that will happen. It's a project that will become an end result and not sit for 10 years without ever becoming what they thought it would be. So therefore we can put our name under it, and this is why we are promoting it today and try our best to make people know the risk factors. The other thing I think is quite important is that every buyer, they have a goal. Now everybody has different goals, but purchasing in Mauritius or purchasing a property in Mauritius is normally the means to that goal. So either you want residency or you want investment. That's normally the two main goals that people are after, or both. This project gives you actually both simultaneously and something else, which is quite nice, being the leisure part of it. So when you purchase in this project, you already qualify to be a resident in Mauritius, a permanent resident in Mauritius. Now, people need to understand that residency is vested into your property. So the day you sell your property, your residency, you lose your residency as well. It's a very, very important point. But when you get your residency, you can either live in the unit. This project gives you the option to live in the unit. It gives you the option to have it as an investment where you are renting it to the Maritim for them to manage it for you. But you still have 30 plus days a year that you can use it as a holiday. So either live in South Africa, come to Mauritius for a month a year and spend time in the hotel while your property is giving you a very, very good return on investment, or living in the units itself, or living somewhere else on the island. Maybe you want to rent somewhere else, but you want your residency. That this project gives you. It gives you three things and more in the same project. And there's very little, if any, other projects on the island at this moment of time that can give you that at the same level and at the same standard, because there's multiple facets to this property that I think it will be hard to find somebody that is not attracted to some of them or most of them. So that's the first thing, because your interest, your return on investment between 6 to 7%, like Christophe said, over 10 years, or fixed at 4 for certain units, it gives you that peace of mind that the return is very good. The other thing that I think people ask and what we have to look at is your location. Location, it's northwest according to my directions of the island. It's a less populated part of the island. The first thing that attracts you to this area is it's basically one hotel after another on the beach. We all know the beaches have the hotels have the best beaches in Mauritius, so that's already a tick that you're on the right in the right location. It's not highly dense populated. You will be integrated in a hotel system. So it's a secured area, it's a secured environment that you are in or live in. Your location to the vicinities of Port Louis, which is the city, the capital, or Baie, which is probably the biggest commercial town, if you want to call it a town in Mauritius, is about the same distance. It's very, in Baie you get everything. You get movies, you get restaurants, you get shopping, you get hospitals, schools are close. All these things are a few minutes drive from this property, if you prefer to live in this property as a home. And then obviously you have access to a beach. So many of people buy in Mauritius and have very little access to the beach or have only public access to the beach. So the cap. As you know, foreigners are not allowed to buy property on the beach in Mauritius. It's only local Mauritians that it's allowed. So to have that access with the comfort of restaurants, like Christophe said, 7 restaurants, is something that I think people need to consider very closely, because it's not given, and it's not given to any project. Further to that, this is just, like I said, scratching the surface. We are at Seef, we have multicultural and language person, people to help and assist you. We have Afrikaans, as you can probably notice, I'm Afrikaans from origin. Afrikaans, we have English, we have French agents, so we can help you. So there's no miscommunication or misunderstanding, and we are there to assist, we are there to help, and we are there to answer your questions the best we can. So if there's anything that you need to ask me, please, I will be happy to answer.
I think thank you so much. And I think just to summarize it, as we are now sort of heading towards the last part of our webinar here, from a price perspective, Christophe, prices you mentioned start at 405,000 USD for a 2-bedroom apartment. Could you give us a starting price on the villas?
Yep, I think we just have on the chat box being posted some prices by Severin, so you'll have that. But yeah, basically you're gonna get your 3-bedroom villa as from just shy of $800,000, and then on the apartment side, you're gonna have the 2-bedroom, the 3-bedroom are starting at $619,000 US, and the penthouses are in the range of $800,000 USD.
And
so, yeah.
So, and my last question then, as we round up, is when can I move in? So, what is the construction timelines, and when are you hoping for occupancy?
Yes, of course. Look, we are doing great in terms of sales. So the planning for us now is to build around March, April next year, 2022, with approximately 18 months of construction. So the target for us for people to be able to move in will be end of 2023. This is really what we're working towards, and I'm sure we'll achieve that.
Just a small note, will you be building the heart or the health, the lifestyle leisure facility at the same time as you are the units?
Yes, all the project will be built at the same time. We don't want people to live in a construction site for the next 5 years. So definitely all the facilities, infrastructure, and unit itself will be built at the same time. So it will be a fully fledged operating project at the end of the handover. Yeah.
And just a last question, can I take it for granted that the units are fibre ready, internet access, fast speed fibre access? I know Mauritius is excellent when it comes to your fibre infrastructure, but so it could easily become a work remote, my new work from home location.
Yes, definitely. You know, what the pandemic has showed us is really that capacity for people to work all around the globe, and as you said, Mauritius has a very good internet connection, and will definitely position the Welnest like this. You'll see, everyone can see it in documentation, but all the units are fitted with high quality standard, and at the same time high quality infrastructure with a fiber optic, cable TV connection to all the concierge service of Maritim. So you will be really feeling like in a resort, but at home.
That's fantastic. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. And thank you to everybody for putting some time aside today, and to everyone who participated or is listening to the recording. The Welnest really does offer an investor or resident or somebody who's looking to perhaps invest now with the intention of retiring to the island in 5 years' time, or whatever that period looks like for you. There is definitely something for everyone. So thanks, folks. And Clem, could you pop on that video, please?